ASP.NET Architecture for Modern Web Applications. ASP.NET offers several advantages over traditional .NET development environments. In the earlier days, there has to be do many things in manually. In nowadays, what are the repetitively requirements while implementing web applications? They have identified the findings of many things, and they have integrated for latest and updated versions of Visual Studio as well as frameworks. As a learner, you should use .NET for your server web applications if some of all of the following important to your application will goes to success for implementation and execution in the real-time live scenario. See, those are cross-platform support. Your application, you have an idea to architecture means a person who is a design for building plan. Likewise, we need to develop in a web application, we need to prepare a skeleton where we have to go exactly and what are the requirements majorly and how the application will approach the large extent. That all we should know clearly about the picture. Call it as blueprint. Like a class platform support, what we can say that our web application will runs to any platform irrespective to the operating system. It should support on browser, Mozilla, Google Chrome, or irrespective of the operating system and irrespective of the device like mobile, computer system, laptop, tabs, and any other system which is having to accessing of the web applications, browsing and all. And use of microservices, this is the trending word now. It's coming to the ASP.NET even. The microservices will give you to IoT devices to access our web application activities micro way in the very small service like services. And use of Docker containers. This is the concept of DevOps, development operations, DevOps concept, where we will use to integrate with the Docker. Our application will build and publish at the same time without the losing of the day and all. If we ready to publish the code, we can put into the Docker. Docker will, if it is a scheduled, and it will automatically take the code appropriately and create the build, clean, build, publish and host into the production server. And high performance and scalability requirements. What is the minimum requirement of the hardware or cloud specification server, which are instance to have the performance of the application and hits, how many hits may reach that application. Based on that, we need to design for the performance of the hardware. And scalability requirements, how much scalability it's required. The project is 1 year project only, or 2 years, or 5 years, 10 years, and a lifetime it's a continuation of the application. Then we have to go with the scalability of the requirements of the web application. And now side by side versioning of .NET versions by application on the same server. Here in meanwhile, if it is a long time term project, we need to capability, we need to prepare for that. If updated version is available from the .NET, we need to update. Why? Because for the latest and updated versions of the controls and tools we need to use in our application in upcoming days. Meanwhile, we have to be focused on that one also for the future references and all. Now we will see ASP.NET Core architecture, how it would be. The application code project will be in this part where the mouse is cursor is going on, and the data structure and data source one we need to prepare for it, and third party controls, what we need to access the third party tools, and infrastructure project. Now in memory and read cache services, Azure services like cloud or SMS services, if any third party SMS integrations, and email services, what are the third party or integrated own server, email server, and web APIs from the clients of the third parties, and core web API controllers, views and models, and responsive cache filters, how many are requirement, and ASP.NET Core identity, and ASP.NET Web application and web development. What are the pages and requirement of the cache, and the performances out are the requirements, and what are the standards of the IIS and IIS certificate for the HTTPS certification, security purpose, and the database, how much data is capability to require to having in a web application, how much data will be coming to the sit into the database. Based on that, we have to define the database size, and always we need to keep on concentration for scalability and extendability of the application feature enhancements. And now traditional .NET applications can and do support for many of these requirements. However, ASP.NET will have an optimized for offer improved support of these above scenarios for all the requirements to be satisfied. See, this is the diagram pictorial representation which is used for to given a better idea. Once we implemented in .NET Core or .NET application, at present it is a feasibility and support to host on Google Cloud, Azure, which is the Microsoft's, and AWS Cloud, or in your own cloud if any. It can be possible to host our web applications using ASP.NET technologies developed one. And many of the organizations are choosing hosting their web applications in the cloud nowadays without having and without maintaining own server and reducing the money and infrastructure developments and all. They are looking for Amazon Web Services and Microsoft Azure and Google Cloud to deploy their own applications developed. You should also host your applications in the cloud if the following are important to your application or your organization to be reached. See one by one here. Reduce investment in data center cost like hardware, software, space, utilities, server infrastructure and all. We need not to maintain these all the things. The cloud environment, cloud people, those who are offering the services, they will taken care about all these things. Flexibility of pricing, pay as you use, not for ideal capacity or choosing the hardware what we have opted. Here, pay as you use, in the sense we need to pay as much we use the resources from the cloud. The type of service is available in nowadays in the market. Improved app mobility, easily change where and how your app is deployed. It's a very simple to modify the corrections and all, and mobility is readily available by using the cloud environments. And extreme reliability and flexible capacity, scale up to and or down based on the actual needs. If my web application is hosted with the space of 200 GB of hard disk and my data is huge on that, what are my expectations, then it's a very simple task in cloud based scenario. I simply increase my database to from 2 GB to or 200 GB to 2 terabyte very easily by clicking the 2 terabyte only. That's it. That much of flexibility is available in cloud services. Now, building web applications with ASP.NET hosted in cloud offers many competitive advantages over traditional way. Now we will see and discuss about the Visual Studio.NET Framework 4.5 and its architecture. See here, this is the Framework 4.5 network, that .NET Framework 4.5 architecture in its forming with along with the Visual Studio 2012. See, .NET Framework is having an operating system which is installed. Common language, it's for common language runtime is available within the framework on .NET Visual Studio. And base class library will give you the facility for the library information. Languages which is supports C# and VB.NET as a basic languages for nowadays for these Visual Studio. Dynamic language runtime and managed extensibility framework and portable class library, and WinRT. These are the services will offer framework itself. Having the framework, these are the libraries will have and facilities will give. What are the facilities it will gives? The ready-madely available frameworks. Now in the left part you will observe that ASP.NET Web Form Development and MVC Model View Controller and Web Page and SPA and Windows Desktop Applications, Windows Forms and required libraries and all, Windows Store Apps and WPF services and Silverlight, Windows Presentation Foundation, WPF means. These are the services we can do by using this framework like application level architecture and ADO.NET and ADO.NET Entity Framework, LinkQ, Parallel Extension. These are the database connectivity adapters and library framework will give you a facility to interact with the database of your web application. That is ADO.NET, ADO.NET Entity Framework, LinkQ, Parallel Extension. And now we will see in the service part WCF, Windows Control Foundation and ASP.NET Web API, Application Program Interface and Single R and WF. These are the services who wants to connect external resources to connect and interact with our web application, like offering the services or invoking the services and providing the web services for app development or to have a service to any other service of IoT device or web service. We are offering our data to exchange with some other application or some other department. Likewise, these all will have an integrated with the ASP.NET Framework 4.5 architecture, which is available in Visual Studio 2012. And based on the requirement of the application, you have to choose the basic, what is the requirement of analysis to understand the architecture, to design phase, collecting of the information, design phase, and what are the requirements for the design phase, and coding, what are the requirement of the basic requirement of the tools, those who are for development of the application, and the testing phase, and maintenance, and the hosting and maintenance. And this is the life cycle, and this is the architecture where you have to follow for the application development. This is the most will use for top management will go and consider with the architecture and all. As a fresher, you need not to bother about the architecture and all. I hope you better understand about this architecture session. If any comments, specify your comment and raise your clarifications. We will get back to you as soon as early once we have reached that service of message and content. Thank you for watching this session. Thank you.